Welcome back. In this video, we'll learn about the Q&A feature in Power BI, how to ask questions and get the answers in Power BI in a very simple and layman language. Now, this is a feature about the AI in BI, artificial intelligence in business intelligence. So let's see in detail. So first thing, what we are going to do is we'll just pick up the data from one of the data source. I'll just click on Excel workbook. Name of the file is sample superstore dataset. I'll pick up the data, and from here, I'll just pick up one sheet named as order sheet and then click on load button. Now, Q&A feature is very interesting feature. It's there in Power BI from, I can say, from 2020, year 2020 onwards. But now AI is booming in the market, but this was already present here. I'm talking about a feature. It is AI visuals, the first AI visual, which is Q&A feature here. Now, let's see the data first of all. We have this data set related to sales and profit. It's the customer information and all the details. We have date data type, ship date, order date. We have the textual data type given over here. We also have the geographical data type, which talks about the country, city, state, postal code, region, and so on. And we also have some textual data again. And at the end of the screen, we have some numerical data, which talks about sales, profit, quantity, and discount. So I want to see the profit across all the dimensions. So first, I want to find out how much is the profit received from each category, each subcategory, different cities and states, which customer gave how much profit, and so on. So let's try to understand. If you are very new to Power BI, you do not have any information, how do you get the answers? I'll go to the report view option here. And previous version of Power BI, we used to double click on this blank canvas and then used to get the answers. But now, with the new feature, you cannot double click and get the answers. We have to go to this drop down, select the option as Q&A option here, and this will create one box. So preparing Q&A, what it will do is it will give you a text box where you can type and ask a question, and based on that, it will give us the answer. So you see, ask a question about your data, and here in this box, I can click and I can talk about profit. So when I say profit, this is a name of the column in the data set. Profit by region. So when I say profit by region, this will give me how much profit they have received based on different regions. This will take some time, few seconds, and it will give you the answers, very simple language. So it says profit by region. I can clearly see at the data that West region has the maximum profit and Central having the lowest profit. Now, if I do not want on this bar chart, I will type some other chart, let's say as pie. This will give me a pie chart here. Now, if I want to select this, if I agree with this answers, I can click on this OK button. So when I click on this OK button, this will convert into a pie chart. I can just drag and drop it here. Not only pie chart, you can decide which visual do you want. So I can go back here, click on Q&A. Here I can talk about, let's say, profit by segment. Segment is a column name in the data set, and I want to see in the donut chart. So profit by segment, and I can just click on this OK button. This will create a simple donut chart over here. Now, let's see some more examples. If I go back and select the option Q&A, here I can talk about, let's say, profit by state. State is a column name. And whenever you have a geographical data, remember, you should create a map. So now when I say map, it created a map of United States because the data is for United States right now. So I can just click on OK button here. Now, this is the profit by state option over here. Now, I can just put it down somewhere and put it here. Now, similarly, if I want again, I can just click on this Q&A option. And suppose if I only want profit, I don't want anything else, just profit, I can click on OK. This would create a simple card. We have learned about how to create a card in Power BI. Again, coming back, I can just click on this Q&A. I can again talk about another numerical column, let's say as sales, click on OK. This will create as many cards as I want. Now here in this case, when I have this cards over here, pie chart, donut chart, map, I can also create different type of visuals. Let's try one more. I can click on Q&A, and here I can write as profit by order date. So remember, whenever you have a date data type, you should always create a line chart. By default, it has created a line chart. I'll just click on OK button here. Now this has created a line chart. Now, the best part about this Q&A feature is it understands your simple language and converts into a visual, textual, whichever format you want. I can click on any of these slides and you see the whole report gets filtered. So in short, you're preparing a report, a dashboard in very few seconds. So this is one of the interactive report / dashboard. Now, this is one way of asking questions. You can be more specific and ask them different variety of questions. Let's ask another question here. The question would be, give me the top 3 states by profit. So it will filter and give you the top 3 states by profit. When I click on OK, what will happen is you're getting 3 states. But what actually happened was on the right hand side, if you see, it has filtered the data based on the state here. Okay, California, New York, and Washington, these are 3 states. I can go back, ask another type of question on this Q&A. This was top 3. Suppose if I want the bottom 3 states by profit. So this will give me the lowest profitable states. So these are 3 particular states here. Now imagine you're typing and asking questions like in Google or maybe in ChatGPT or Bard. They are very simple, straightforward questions and it gives you the answer. So if I select this Q&A option and if I want to ask them, what is the profit in California? Okay, so it tells me 76.38 thousand. If you want to verify, I can click here. I can click on this button, data label, and you can see 76,000 is a value which is given. So this is for California. But again, if you want to be specific for, I can ask them for, let's say as furniture. Okay, for furniture, it is 9.16 thousand. Now you can be very specific and ask them detail. Okay, so let me revise the question here. How much is the profit made? Let's say if I go back to data view, in this column, there's a customer. You can ask them about any customer. Let's say the name of the customer is John Lee. So how much is the profit I've got from this person, John Lee? Let's ask them. So profit received by John Lee. Okay. Even you can remove this part. If you don't want it, you can just remove that receive part. So I'll write as profit by John Lee. It is 228.9. Let's try and test it if it's working or not. So I'll click on this button here. I'll put here the customer name, somewhere be customer name, and I can select for the profit. So the name of the person was John Lee. Let me scroll down and search for that person's name, John Lee. So the profit should match. If you see 228.91. If I ask about the John Dryer, minus 266. So I'll just change the spelling as Dryer. Here I'll remove this Lee option, Tryer. And here, let's see, it gives me the answer as minus 266.55. So this Q&A feature is interesting feature which you can explore all about. Now this is just a start. You can see there are many things which you can explore. If I go back into Q&A, here we have a very small settings button. So this will help you to refine your search terms. If I click on settings button, you can find the similar words in the field. You can also review questions. You can also suggest questions. You can teach Q&A. Multiple things you can do. If you want to understand better, you can just click on learn more about Q&A. I would suggest you to explore this. When you click on this button, it will take you to the official website of Microsoft, where in detail, they will try to explain how it can be used. It's a very vast topic and the name of this topic is Q&A. Now, it has been a prefix with natural language Q&A. That means you don't need to be a person with knowledge of coding to ask the questions and get the answers. You can easily get the answers by writing a simple English language. The topic is vast and you can just keep on asking questions to get the answer. There are some limitations as well, which you can just go through and understand what are the limitations there. So coming back to our topic, the Q&A feature is AI in BI. When I say AI, is the artificial intelligence in BI, which is business intelligence. Now, this feature was introduced in the year 2020, long back before ChatGPT and Bard has came in the market. So coming back to our topic, I hope you have understood how to use this Q&A feature in Power BI, and that's all for this video. In this video, we'll learn about the next feature about AI, which is Decomposition Tree in Power BI. Now, this is the second video in AI in BI, Artificial Intelligence in Business Intelligence. What is the Decomposition Tree and how do we use it? Let's try to understand. Sometimes, if you want to get to the root cause of any problem, we use this kind of Decomposition Tree. So, let's see one example here. This visual is present in the AI visuals, and this is the Decomposition Tree, which is available. I can click on this Decomposition Tree. Now, I want to find out the details about high profit and the low profit. So here comes the feature like analyze, explain by. These are the two options, very important options. In the analyze, I'll pick up the option as profit. In the explain by, I'll pick up here category. I'll pick up here region. And here I can pick up, let's say, segment. So I want to analyze the profit and I should get the answers by this 3 reasons. Okay, these are the 3 problem statement. Let's say category, region and segment. Now, when I say the total profit, if you see it's 286,000, that's a value over here. That's a total profit. Now, if I want to split this data, I can click on this plus sign based on which field I want to understand. Let's try to talk about the category option. It tells me that the technology is having the highest profit and furniture is having the lowest profit. So technology is having 145,000 and the furniture is having 18,000. Now let's talk about the technology. In technology, I want to dig down about the region field. So I'll select the region option. Here it tells me the East region, West, South and Central. The highest profit received is from East region and the lowest received is from which South region here. And the last one, I can click on any plus sign. Let me click on the West plus sign and I can select the option segment. So it tells me that the West region is having the highest profit from the consumer segment and the lowest from the home office segment. Now, these are the 3 different levels I have picked up. I can also add multiple fields and go in the detail part. Now, the beautiful part is, carefully observe, the text which is in the bold, it means it has been selected. If you observe here, the sum of profit is in bold, technology and the West region is in bold. If I select office supplies, here it will become as bold. This will give me the details about this particular office supplies here. And if I select East region, it's giving the detail about East. So if a person walks in the room and wants to understand what exactly is the visual trying to tell about, you can say it's sum of profit for the office supplies and for the East region. On the other hand, you can also see on the heading of this particular visual, it says the category is filtered for office supplies and the region is given as East. Now here, if you do not like this particular visual, you can just remove this field and you can remove back. Now, again, if you want to bring it back, you can just click on this plus sign. Now you can select segment. Earlier we have selected category option, but this time I'll select segment. It tells me consumer is having the maximum profit, home office the lowest profit. Click on plus, select category, then click on plus, select region. And here it is very flexible to give the answers quickly for any field which you select on the screen. Now, if you think this is fine and this has to be presented, you can lock this field here. You can lock this level, you can lock all the levels here. So when you lock here, the delete option on the screen will not be visible and you will not be able to change anything. So neither the end user can change. You as a developer can unlock this field again by selecting this option. The moment you unlock, you can delete this option here. Now here, if I unlock, I can delete the lower field, the child fields from here or this place. Now this was about creation of particular decomposition tree. Remember, this is the AI visual, artificial intelligence. Now about the formatting, the options about the formatting is on the right hand side. Here I can just click on more options. There are plenty of options which are very easy and simple to understand, but something which are very unique to this particular visual are conditional formatting. If I go back to conditional formatting, here I can select this option as sum of profit because there's only one field right now. The data bars, if you see the data bar color right now, it has given the light color and the dark color based on some understanding. However, we can click on this F of X button to change the colors here. So in this case, it is already selecting the sum of profit, the field. It is showing us the gradient format. So instead of gradient, I think the rules should be much better. So for the rules, I can tell them if the value is greater than 0 and less than maximum number. So greater than equal to 0, maximum number, then the color should be blue, which is already there. However, I can also select here that the minimum should be empty here. That means it can be anything lowest, but it should be less than 0. Then it will be as a red color. I'm talking about the negative numbers in the second line and positive numbers in the first line. When I click on OK, carefully observe, within few seconds, you can quickly understand that central region is a region which is having lower profit. In fact, negative profit. It shows in the red color. When you keep on selecting the options, you can quickly understand which one is having the negative figure. So I can select something, I can select here and quickly get the answers. So this kind of conditional formatting you can bring. This was about the rules. You can talk about the gradient and the field values as well. Now, this is one of the conditional formatting. The other options which are available are the three options here. Here, if you see, we have the option of density, which is default. I can select the option dense. It will compress the visuals. If I say sparse, it is spread across. It will occupy the maximum possible space when you say the draws. It will occupy the minimum possible space by trends. The default action which is given as filter and highlight, I can select the option as collapse as well. So collapse and filter, these are the options I can pick up from here, and it can minimize. You see, if I double click, it minimizes. If I double click or single click, it minimizes. So this is the collapse feature which is given here. Now, the other option is filter and highlight. Filter highlight will give you the plus sign on the screen. You can quickly get the answers from here. Now, this is what you call the tree settings. The other options we have about the bar options, where I can increase or decrease the size of the bars, you can see, to fit the other visuals as well. I can also define the start and the end point as well. So this is how you can change the layout, the positions or the size of those vertical visuals. Now, the values option given here, if you see the values which are given, they are the gray color values. I can change into a black color. I can increase the size which are visible for any users. The decimal values as 0 and the display units, I can make it as thousands. So this would be much more easy for the end user to read the data. Right. So this was about the AI visual, which was the decomposition tree. I hope you have understood, and that's all for this video. Welcome back. In this video, we'll learn about an interesting feature about Power BI, which is smart narrative. Now, this is one of the AI visuals in Power BI. Let's try to understand. Whenever you go for a presentation and you have the report or visuals present on your screen, it becomes difficult to understand and speak about the data. Now, smart narrative is something which will read between the lines. It will try to tell you that visuals, that answers, even though if they are visually present, but still you're not able to decode. Smart narrative is something that kind of visual here. Let's try to understand. For time being, I'll just create three visuals. The first one, I'll create a simple donut chart. Any donut chart you can prepare. So the donut chart would be for the region and sales. I'll just copy paste Control C and Control V. This region I will replace with the other option given as segment. Control C and Control V. And the third visual I'll convert into a column chart. And this one I will change into, let's say, as subcategory. So x-axis I can choose here subcategory. And this will give me a simple bar chart here. Now, when you go for a presentation, there's one interesting thing which you have to take care. Let me first change the data labels on the right hand side. The data labels right now are in the millions. Let me convert into thousands. Decimals as 0, and the color I'll change into black. So right now, when you go for a presentation, usually a person will tell that the mobile phones is having the highest sales, fastener is having the lowest sales, consumer segment is having the highest sales, and then the home office segment is having the lowest sales. What is present in the visual, anybody can read and tell. But what we want to understand is in detail, which is not visible, which is what we have to decode for the end user. Now, this is an interesting feature, smart narrative. Creating these three visuals does not come into smart narrative. This is the basic thing what we have learned earlier. Here, you have to click outside somewhere on the blank space, click on this drop down, and here comes the smart narrative. This feature is also present in the insert menu bar, which is here, which is the smart narrative option. So I can click on smart narrative. It will decode all the answers within few seconds and give me the details. Let's try to understand. It talks about something which says West has the highest sales, which is this much amount, followed by East, Central and South. This is talking about the first visual, which is the pie chart. So from here, West region is having the highest sales. How much is the West region? It has accounted for 31%. If you see, this is the value, 31.58%. It says mobile phone is having the highest sales, which is this much higher, 11,000 or 10,000 times higher. That's a percentage. And which has the lowest value, which is 3,000. So if you compare the mobile phones, this value is 10,000 times higher as compared to fasteners. So this is changing definitely. This is giving the answer. And it says across all 17 subcategories, the values are starting from 3,000 to 330,000. Now, whatever you see in the underline, these values are dynamic. This will change based on the selection of data on the screen. Suppose if I select the mobile phones over here, you see the whole data has been changed. Here I'm getting some other options, here some other options and other things. If I change something in the West region, the whole report changes. It is trying to give me the answers which will take some hours for me to understand. If I select, let's say, the consumer segment, for consumer segment, it says West region at the highest in the consumer. If you ask some person to find out in the consumer which region is having the highest sales, it would be difficult because if you see everywhere, it looks similar. The pie chart looks similar. But using this method, using this smart narrative, you can quickly get the answers here. So, this is the smart narrative option. If you think you want to add some text over here, you can definitely write here the total profit is. You can write the total profit. It's a text over here. And here in this box, I can add a value. So in this value, I can write as profit. So here, when I scroll down, it's very small over here. When you scroll down, you'll be getting 286,000 and I can click on save. So this value which is created, it's a dynamic value. I can change it. I can also write the total sales is. And here I can just go to add value. I can talk about sales. And here when I scroll down, I'll be getting sales as 2.29 million. Click on save button. So I can create more complex dynamic inputs which are required here and still get the answers. Now this will definitely change based on selected value, selected bar or slice on the pie chart. So smart narrative is something which will speak what an end user will not be able to decode even though the visuals are present here. Okay. This is one of the AI visual which was recently launched in the Power BI itself. So I hope you have understood about the smart narrative in Power BI, and that's all for this video. In this video, we'll see one more AI feature in Power BI, which is explain the increase and decrease. Now, this is not present anywhere in this visual. It's kind of a hidden feature in Power BI, but let's try to understand. Very, very important. There are many people in the company which spends hours together to find out the root cause or the detail about why this thing happened. An example, I want to find out why did the profit decrease? What was the reason behind that? Why did the sales decrease? Let me show you an example. Suppose on the right hand side of this data, I have this option given as profit. There might be some places where the profit has declined. It can be because of the customer didn't come, because of the city didn't perform, or the category was not sold. It can be because of segment, because of subcategory, anything. The reason can be anything, but how do I get the answers? That's a beautiful part right now in Power BI. Let's see. First thing, to get the understanding of this particular AI feature, I'll create a simple column chart for order date and sales. This created a column chart. I will add here data labels as well. Now in this data label, when I get it, I'll just click on this expand all down one level in hierarchy. So this will create simple column chart, which shows me the years as well as the quarters. And here the data label which are given, it's in millions. Let's try to convert into thousands. On the right hand side, I'll go to data label, convert this color as black color, value decimals as 0, and display units as thousands. So I've got this data label in a proper manner. Now, coming to this point over here. Now, let's say, assume the company right now is in 2020 Q4, okay, which is 236,000. Now, the profit has came down or the sales have come down to 123,000. What could be the reason? Now, the company wants to find out the root cause so that they can take an action and then they can increase the sales. Similar trend you have observed many places. Now, 182,000, the value has declined to 93,000. What could be the reason? The reason can be any field on the right-hand side, which is difficult to decode. To get this answers, people spend 3 to 4 hours in the organization desperately to get the answers here. Now here, let's try to get the answers in less than 60 seconds. First thing, from 236,000, the sales have come down to 123,000. What could be the reason? You don't have to ask anyone else. You have to just ask this 123,000, which is 2021 Q1. I can right click on this particular field and I can tell them analyze explain the decrease. Don't ask anyone else. You can just directly ask them, explain the decrease, and in less than 60 seconds, it will give you all the answers. The first answer, it says, how much percentage the value has decreased? It is 47.84%. And if you scroll down, it has given already many visuals to tell you why the sales have decreased. Let's try to understand the first visual. If you observe here, from 236,000, the value has decreased to 123,000. That is 2020 Q4 to 2021 Q1. And the main reason, there are many regions which the profit has decreased, but the main region and the reason is East region. It says minus 48,000. This was the reason. Second could be Central, and third and fourth. This was about the region. Not only this, it also gives us in the writing format, in the English format, East and Central accounted for majority of decrease. East and Central accounted for the majority of decrease among the region. The relative contributions made by the East and West change the most. Okay, so it gives me the answers here. Let's try to understand one. From 236,000, it came down to 123,000. And what could be the reason? Corporate segment was the reason. It is also written on the top. It says corporate accounted for the majority of decrease among the segment, and the relative is the corporate most. So second reason it has given me. And if I go somewhere on the top, it will give me all the answers here. And third one, which says which category was accounted for majority of decrease. It says the furniture, again minus 57,000. All these answers we have got in less than 60 seconds. Usually people take 3 to 4 hours minimum to get the answers. Now here, coming back to the next example. Now your company did a sales of 144,000 in Q3, and there was a spike in the sales which has come to 236,000. Now the company wants to give the profit, and within the team it has to distribute the profit in terms of incentives or goodies or something else, but they are not sure this 236,000 increase in sales was done because of which corporate client, because of which region, and so on. So if they want to get the answers, they can select this 236,000, right click on this place, and then analyze, explain the increase. It can quickly explain the increase in less than 60 seconds. First answer, by how much percentage the sales have increased? 64.20%. And all these visuals are created here. The first answer, let's try to see. Corporate segment was something because of which the sales have increased by 50%, or I can say 50,000. So the management can take a decision that the goodies or incentives or awards should go to this particular corporate segment. Similarly, the second example, it says the standard class. This is the type of shipping mode. Standard class has got 65,000, which is a huge number, because of which the sales have increased. And let's say one more and the last, right? And here it says, based on which subcategory we have got the highest sales. It says others, all of them have contributed as 30,000, but major one, if you see the binders, which is 16,000, then 15, then 12, and then so on. So the company can decide about this particular subcategory. It has to be better, packaging can be done something better, and we have got the answer. Now, we have seen 123 to the previous one. We have seen 236 with the previous one. But what if I want to do Q and Q analysis, quarter on quarter analysis? Can we do that? I can select any quarter of 2018 and any quarter of, let's say, 2021. Okay, these both are different quarters. They don't have relation between them. But still, I want to understand the value 144,000 to 280,000, how it has come. So I can select both of these bars, right click, analyze, and I can say explain the increase. This will explain me the increase, and you see 2018 quarter 3 with 2021 quarter 4. How much percentage? 94.98%. And if you scroll down, you'll get the same story what we have got there. Now, the beautiful part right now is, suppose if you want to add this visual, if you think this visual is important and when you show this to a management, they'll be happy, and you can definitely include this visual. You can click on this plus sign and this visual would be added. You have to add this visual after 15 days. After 15 days, you have to click on this plus button. For time being, I'll just click it right away. When you do this, what will happen is this particular visual, what we selected, will be added over here in this place. And now when you go for a presentation, you can show this particular waterfall chart, which is simple and easily available. Now, let's talk about one more example here. Suppose if I right click on this place and I say analyze, explain the increase. Here, when I scroll down, this is a boring chart, which is a waterfall chart, but in future, you may require some fancy visuals. Like this is the second visual, this is the third visual, and fourth. They all have the same meaning, but the way of presentation is different. This is the stack bar chart, ribbon chart, and the scattered plot. You can also bring this kind of charts by selecting. You can click on this add button after 15 days, and this particular visual would be added at the backend. Now, this is something very interesting. You can keep on adding, getting the answers. Now, why do we add after 15 days? When you add it immediately and show it to your manager, the manager will give you the another work. He will say, very good job. He'll appreciate for next 2-3 minutes and he'll give you the another work for you. So when you add after 15 days, you can tell them, sir, I've taken a lot of effort to get the answers. It took me almost 15 days and night to get the answers. On a lighter note, but you should give them immediately, depending upon your relation with your manager. And now coming to the point over here. Now this feature, right click, analyze, explain the increase and decrease is not there anywhere on this visuals. You have to yourself understand, decode and get the answers quickly. Now this works better when you have the x-axis as a date data type. When you have a text data type, it may or may not work properly. It will give you some different answers. So remember, whenever you have a date data type in the x-axis, this will give you the right answers. So I hope you have understood how to work on this explain the increase and decrease feature in Power BI, and that's all for this video. Welcome back. In this video, we'll learn about the next AI feature in Power BI, which is how to get the quick insights in Power BI. Now, even if you have not created any visual in Power BI and just loaded the data, just clean the data, by one button click, you'll be getting approximately 20 visuals by default. That is the beautiful part of Power BI. Let's try to understand. Here on the right hand side, I have just loaded the data. Even if I have no pages over here, still this feature will work. What I need to do, I just need to publish this particular workbook in the online version. To publish, you need a corporate email account. Only then you can work on that. Right now, I'll just click on Save button. Then I can click on Publish, My Workspace, click on Select. It will take few seconds depending upon the size of data, depending upon your internet connection. In less than 60 seconds, this will publish the report online. Now, if you want to open the report, you can click on this Open this particular visual in the Power BI service, or you can just click on this Get Quick Insights. What is this name? This is the name of the workbook right now, AI in BI. But currently, we are talking about Get Quick Insights. Remember, this feature will work even if you don't have the data, even if you don't have the visuals in all those 10 pages. You just need to have a data. It should be clean data. And then if I click on Get Quick Insights, what will happen is, it will try to create more than 20 plus visuals for you. What it will do is, it will create more than 20 visuals with the detailed understanding. So if you see all these visuals are created, I have created none of them right now. So all these visuals are created and they are ready to use. You can just pin them on the dashboard directly. So you see all these visuals. So let's try to understand the first visual on the top. So the first one says it's the postal code by category. This does not make any sense. Though postal code is a numerical column, but it is a geographical location. This cannot be used. It says profit by city. Yes, you can use this particular visual. It says that New York City is having the maximum profit. You see, it is also written for our understanding. New York City has the noticeably more profit here. If you see the profit by product ID, it says this particular product ID has having the lowest profit. Sales by state, then sales and row ID by order date. It has tried to do all the permutation and combinations to get the different visuals and answers. We may not use all of them. We may use some of these particular visuals. So let's say if you like this particular chart and you want to use it in this dashboard, you cannot use in the report. You have to use in the dashboard. Now, what is a report and dashboard? Difference between them? It is covered in the coming section. So for time being, you understand this visuals, wherever you get a pin icon, these icons will be pinned and the final destination would be the dashboards, not the report. So when I click on this button over here, pin visual, it says existing or new dashboard. I'll say new dashboard. New dashboard, I'll write here as Power BI training. And here I can just click on pin. Now this particular visual would be pinned to the dashboard. I can go to the dashboard directly from here. But before I go, let's add one more visual. I can just click on pin visual. Now I'll select existing dashboard. From here, I'll select the option as Power BI dashboard. The name of this report or the dashboard was Power BI dashboard. Right. The name of this one is Power BI training. I can select this existing dashboard, click on pin. And last one, I can again select this particular donut chart, existing dashboard. And here I have to select for Power BI training and click on pin button. Now I can go to the dashboard directly from here. When I click on this, you see all those three visuals are added onto this particular dashboard. Here, these are three visuals which are created by AI. Now, in this dashboard, if you think one chart is missing, you can definitely type over here, which is ask a question. I can click on this box. This is a Q&A feature in the dashboard. We have seen Q&A in the desktop version, but in the dashboard also you'll be getting this Q&A feature. Now, you can come back if you want, click on exit Q&A. I can click on this box, it will open here. You can also refresh the browser if the data is not loaded up to date. Now again, if I click on ask a question, it is preparing for a Q&A. And here I can ask them, let's say sales by subcategory in funnel. Sales by subcategory in funnel. And here on the right hand side, I can click on pin visual, existing dashboard, and the dashboard name is Power BI training. Here I can select, click on pin button, and I can go back to the dashboard. When I see here, you see the fourth visual, which is a funnel chart, which was missing. I never created in the desktop version. So still, even if you don't create it, during the runtime, you can get the answers. Let's try one more. If I click on ask Q&A, I can write here as top 3 states by profit. All right. And then I can just click on pin visual, existing dashboard, and here I can select as Power BI training. Click on pin. Now, if you want to come back, you can click on exit Q&A. Now, one thing you have to note, which is very important, when you click on this publish button and save, I'm just again repeating the same steps, replace, and then click on get quick insights. Once you do that, then you will be getting multiple visuals on this platform. Now, there is a less chances that you might trust on this particular feature. The reason I'll be telling you, this takes a subset of the data. It doesn't take the whole data and gives us the answer. It's written on the top. So the subset of data was analyzed and following insights were found. That now, how much data it has taken? Has it taken 1 GB data or 10,000 data or 1 billion records? There is no clarity about that. Even if you click on this learn more feature, learn more button, it will take you to the official website. It doesn't tell us how much data it is actually capturing. It creates visuals, no doubt about that. But imagine if you have billions and billions of records, now you cannot be pretty sure about it because a subset of your data was analyzed. The previous examples, what we have seen, different AI visuals, there the whole data set has been picked up. You don't take a partial data. So in this case, right now, a subset of data. Now, I have personally checked it for 1 billion records. It works fine. But still, based on this line, it becomes difficult to give you the right answers. So 1 billion records, it works fine and gives us the answer properly. Perfect. So I hope you have understood this particular AI feature in Power BI, which is get quick insights in Power BI. And that's all for this video.